Come on, internet. There we go. We are live, everybody. It's everybody's favorite day. It's Parlay Friday. We are joined today by Peter Appel from Just Baseball, co-founder and director of content strategy. He also co-hosts the Just Baseball show and the Not Gambling Advice podcast. Peter joins us on Parlay Friday today to tell us a little bit about his story and also give fantastic not gambling advice. So, Peter, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for joining Parlay Friday.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm not the biggest parlay guy, but I do have 3 picks today that I do really love. So it is what it is.
I definitely have like a hunch on one of those picks. Well, we'll get to that. I think I'm riding with you on one of those. So we will see. But let's start with the fun stuff. We'll get into a little bit about you. This one's simple. First of all, happy birthday on the Just Baseball company. And we want to know exactly what made you start the Just Baseball brand.
Yeah, so it's a crazy story. So I was working for the New York Yankees in their season ticket sales department, and my co-founder Aram and one of my co-hosts on the Just Baseball show, Jack McMullen, they were both working in the minor leagues. And in 2020, the minor league season got canceled, and it's really hard to sell season tickets in a pandemic. So I left the Yankees and, the minor league season got canceled. So we all got together and we knew we had to do something, right? We knew we wanted to create a baseball media company. We had this idea of everybody covers baseball in the different ways. There's big MLB publications. There's people who cover the minor leagues, college baseball, but there is no website that covers everything about baseball, from the MLB to the minor leagues, to fantasy, to gambling, to trading cards, to college baseball. There's nothing really like that. So we thought if we created a website, we would use TikTok because I saw that it was such an engine, especially during the pandemic, and how it was changing, businesses. You guys use it. You see the impact that TikTok can have, and as well as our podcast network. And our goal by the launch of our website, which was June 22nd, a couple of days ago, we started on TikTok with no followers, no backing, just a couple of us wanting to make picks and talk baseball. And like I said, our goal by the launch of the website was 1,000 followers, and we had 55,000. And then just kind of everything changed there. And now we have this growing podcast network. We have the website that's humming, and our TikTok audience is phenomenal. It keeps us going every day. So it's really been a crazy run of what's been happening in the past year. And I just work every day to try and make it better and better.
That's awesome, Peter. And congratulations again on, like Steve said, on the 1 year. It's just incredible stuff what you guys are doing over there. And then speaking of, so sticking in the baseball realm, we'll jump to a little bit of gambling right here. When it comes to betting, and specifically when it comes to baseball betting, what are some of the things that you look for when you're, about to make your picks?
So I don't know if you guys are aware of, or maybe anybody listening, but I love first fives. I love first fives, and I feel like first 5 bets are some of the more underrated bets when we're talking about baseball, because you want to play a full game money line, right? You see a favorite, they might be minus 150, minus 160, and you say, you know what? I think this team is going to win. I'm going to lay 1.5 units to win 1 unit or something. I'd rather just get the better value, because think about why you like that game in the first place, right? You probably love the starting pitcher on one side, or you love the home field advantage. So why don't you just isolate those starting pitchers and take them to win through the first 5? So for example, one of my picks today, the money line for the game is at minus 160. Do I want to pay all that when I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the game? Some of these bullpens could blow up. Maybe you have a great starting pitcher and a terrible bullpen. Maybe the starter will pitch well, but then your bullpen might blow it. So I'd rather, and then I get a better value on the first 5 innings anyway. I'll take that every day. So that's something that I've been loving. That's one of my most profitable bets. And I always, everyone loves overs. Look for unders. Unders are more profitable. They were more profitable for me last year. They're just a more profitable bet in general, because the public loves the over. So look for unders, look for first 5s. And I think that you'll be profitable. And that's what I've been doing. And I'm up, close to 17 units on the year, and it's been working, and it worked last year. We're just rolling.
Yeah. So I know, look, everybody does love overs, including this guy. Hurts me a lot there, but yeah, no, I agree with you that, and also first 5s are good when you have teams like the Phillies, for example, whose their bullpen's not very good, or teams that just don't have good bullpens in general. So I do like that. I actually got into that like a year ago, and I realized, oh, this is actually a very good bet. But let's get down to what everybody wants to know. You're the Just Baseball guy. In terms of right now, I know it's not even July yet. We're approaching July. If you had to make a World Series prediction right now, based on everything going on, what would you be looking at?
So am I cheating? I have my prediction from the beginning of the year.
Okay, that's not cheating, but
it's not. I can't. But should I change it? Because it has, of course, changed through the first couple of months of the year. Because now the Yankees are the greatest team to ever touch dirt, or at least it looks like it. But my beginning prediction at the beginning of the year was Dodgers versus Rays.
okay.
So that was my original pick, but I kind of want to change it to Mets Yankees. But I am going to stick with Dodgers Rays just because I had that from the beginning of the year. I feel like both teams are at kind of their lowest point right now, so that might not seem like the best one. But the Rays are going to get healthy. We always make fun of the Rays offense, but again, they've been without Brandon Lau, and they're replacing those ABs with Adele Brujan, who can't hit. You know, they have Wander Franco, who's replacing his ABs. Taylor Walls can't hit. They will get better. They've dealt with some injuries all year, similar to the Dodgers with Walker Buehler now being out. Some of the, Max Muncy can't hit water if he fell off a boat right now. I just don't see all these things continuing. I still have a future on that exact matchup, which I still do like. I think it's still going to be the Rays at the end of it. A lot of people are counting them out. I think you're silly for doing so, but we will see. But if you put a gun in my head and said, who do I think realistically should be? I think it's Yankees Mets.
Wow. I like that because I'm a Mets fan, but we need DeGrom and Scherzer back, and then we'll get.
I called the Mets the best underrated team in baseball.
They are underrated though, because like people look at their offense and like there's like low exit velocities in certain places and whatever, but I just think they just play really good baseball. Like they're a complete team.
They are a complete team. It's such a good point too, because they've been playing the year without Scherzer and DeGrom. I mean, not Scherzer for the whole year, but Tyler McGill, again, a guy who's been injured too. And, Edwin Diaz looks good. And I've always been the Edwin Diaz hater, but he looks phenomenal.
And that's great because they need him to be phenomenal. Like the rest of their bullpen is kind of iffy. So if he's phenomenal, they could piecemeal everything else together. That's how I feel. But I'm getting off track here. I could talk about the Mets all day. But Anthony's got a good scenario for you here. This is a fun one.
Yeah, we like scenarios. So Steve was talking about the Mets having some low exit velos. This scenario, there will be no such thing as a low exit velo here. So Peter, I want to throw the scenario at you. Aaron Judge is at the plate, gets like a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, right? Low and in where he just golfs one out. But in his hand, he's using a red XO. Where does that ball land, and how far can that baseball go if he gets it on the sweet spot?
600 feet.
That's what we were saying.
600 feet. That red XO should be illegal. It's technically a weapon. Though that red XO would send balls to the moon by me, like by my chubby 10-year-old self. Imagine Aaron Judge, 6'7", 280, hitting that ball. 99 from the mound too. It's going 600 feet. Mickey Mantle, the story is that he hit one 615 feet. And it's funny. So when I was working at the Yankees too for those 2 seasons, I was the youngest intern there. Like I was just like bottom of the barrel, trying to make my way up there. And my first internship was when I was 19, working in the tours department. And I talked to the guy at the Yankee Museum, huge historian, 68 years old, maybe 70 years old now. He is 100% convinced that Mickey Mantle home run happened. So, whether you believe it or not, I don't know. But if he even got a semblance of close with Mickey Mantle's wood bat, which is even worse than it is nowadays with the pitcher probably throwing 81 miles an hour, and you give Aaron Judge a red XO against 99, the ball may never land. The ball might break on the way out. I don't even know if it goes because the ball is going to be broken.
I was going to say, I was thinking he could get it to 625. I think it's an endless possibility.
Stay under. You can't name one. Like it could
be imagine it's in course.
It might go 1,000 feet. It might go 1,000 feet.
Yeah, that's it. To the moon, easily. Not even a figure of speech, like easily.
I think the ball could explode.
It's perfect. So now I got this one. This is the last one before we get into the picks. MLB season, I need 2 things from you. Biggest surprise, biggest disappointment. And it could be a player, team. It doesn't matter. Just one of each.
Off the top of my head, biggest disappointment is the Angels. I mean, what are you doing? Can I cuss on this thing?
Yeah, you could do whatever you want.
Fuck Angels. What do you? If not now, when? first of all, something that pissed me off lately, they rested Mike Trout against Daniel Lynch, lefty. What are you doing? What are you doing? They can't stay healthy. They gave Anthony Rendon this enormous amount of money, and it had to be this year where they really compete because Shohei Ohtani is going to be a free agent. He's going to command $50 million plus because he deserves it because he's a freaking unicorn. This is the window. If they don't buy now, I've been pounding my desk. If not now, when, Angels? The window is closing. You have all the talent in the world. You fired your manager, Joe Madden. You thought that might turn it around. And what did that do? Exactly what I thought it was going to do because he was not the problem. It's the product on the field. The signing of Noah Syndergaard doesn't look great. I mean, they just have been somewhat inept with some of their signings. I mean, it's clear. And, Jared Walsh is the guy who's not giving them the same production as last year. The bottom of their lineup is just awful. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Just awful. You got Andrew Velasquez down there, can certainly pick it, but he can't hit anything. Guys like Tyler Wade, guys like that, they just aren't hitting. So they're my biggest disappointment. I expected them to be much better than they were. My biggest surprise, that's a tough one. So, I mean, I am pretty shocked how bad Jose Barrios is. I didn't think that he would be one of the worst overall pitchers in baseball.
That one hurts. That one hurts me a lot. I'm just going to tell you that hurts me a lot because he was my preseason pick for AL Cy Young. I was like super high on him, and he stinks. Like,
so the only reason I'm saying I'm not super surprised is I did say at the beginning of the year I ranked them as Alek Manoah 1, Gausman 2, Barrios 3. But still in the mindset that Barrios is going to be a very good 3, even a high-end 2 just in the 3. I love the Blue Jays this year. I thought they were going to be great. I thought there was a very solid chance they win the division. But we were even talking about on the Just Baseball show. My co-host Jack McMullen summed it best. On paper, yes. We described every team in 3 words. On paper, they're amazing. But once we're playing the games, they can't sniff the Yankees. The Red Sox are coming, and the Rays are still great. The Blue Jays still have a lot more to prove because they really haven't proven anything with this roster yet.
No, they haven't. They really haven't.
They haven't. And we just give them credit before they deserve it. I've been doing the same thing with the Padres. We're giving them credit before they deserve it. Blue Jays are similar. Padres are similar in my mind. Just 2 teams who have not proved that they should be talked about with the all-around greats who are always there, like the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Astros and all these different teams. They haven't been, but they could just shove it down my throat and prove me completely wrong very easily.
I think the Padres have a better chance of that than
I do too, but I still think the Giants are going to give them.
Do you think the Giants are going to? Do you think the Giants are going to win the division? Is that a prediction?
No, I think the Dodgers.
No. Dodgers. What am I talking about?
Because the Dodgers don't care. I mean, when we described them in 3 words, I said they don't care because it doesn't matter that they're playing bad. They just got Max Scherzer and Trey Turner last trade deadline. They're going to do something insane again. I just will never count them out. I have to bleach my hair if they don't go over 97.5 wins. I put it out.
Wow. I think you're going to be okay. To be totally honest,
I hope. I mean,
that might look good though. The whole thing.
I can't.
Oh, dude, you could do a Joe Madden mohawk bleached. Not that we ever got to see it because he got fired. Imagine getting fired with the mohawk. I'm sure this has been talked about, but it's like what insanity.
It'd be slightly embarrassing.
It's a little embarrassing. All right, let's move to the reason everybody's here. For not gambling stuff. So we'll start with our best bets here. Peter, since you're our guest of honor, let's start with you. What is your one best bet for today?
So I have 2 bets that I'm playing exactly similar. So can I just give them both out, or I can just dive into one specifically?
You could give them both out if you'd like, and then as long as you have something together for the next segment, which is a little parlay or whatever.
Why don't I? Well, I'll just give my favorite. I'll just give my absolute favorite bet of the day.
Perfect.
My one favorite. So this is again a first 5 innings bet, and it's on the under 4 in Giants Reds tonight. It's Graham Ashcraft facing Alex Cobb. Alex Cobb's got a 5.62 ERA, and you got a rookie on the road. So you say to yourself, Peter, why in the world are you taking an under through the first 5 when it's only 4 runs can be scored? Because Alex Cobb is the unluckiest pitcher in all of baseball. I'm not being hyperbolic there. He has a 2.25 xERA, which ranks in the 96th percentile in baseball. That's from Baseball Savant's expected ERA based on hard hit rates and a bunch of different advanced stats that they have. They have him at a 2.25, but he's really got a 5.62 ERA. It's because he's getting blown up with runners on base, like from the stretch. But we saw one of Alex Cobb's best outings was against the Reds because they do not match up well against his pitch mix, and they're one of the worst road offenses in baseball. But opposing Alex Cobb is going to be Graham Ashcraft, who really does a great job at missing the sweet spot of the bat, right? He ranks 91st percentile in barrel rate, 95th percentile in average exit velocity. It's really hard to square him up. And the Giants in particular are really bad against the cutter, which Graham Ashcraft throws more than anyone. And we even saw Graham Ashcraft have one of his best outings this year against the Giants already. And it's funny, the Giants have not really been able to hit right-handed pitching at home lately. Since June began, they have a 77 WRC plus against right-handed pitching in June, which ranks 27th in baseball. I think both of these pitchers are not going to give up more than one run through the first 5 innings. I'm hammering the under. I love it.
That is like seriously in-depth stuff right there. I enjoyed that. Because when you see stuff on social, you can't go in, like you only have like a minute, right? So you can't like really go into everything.
Yeah, but I write a full article every morning on justbaseball.com too, which like I'll give you my full analysis. On the TikTok, I'm just like Cal Quantrill money line. But on my website, like I got all the stats, all backing it up. So it's just I try and make it more fun for TikTok.
I love that. So that's now what Giants Reds first 5 under. It's fantastic. I like that. Anthony, what do you have for your best bet today? I don't even know what you said earlier. You went in and out of my mind real quick. So let's see what you got.
Yeah, we're staying right in that exact game. Giants Reds. We're taking Giants -1.5 at +110. We love plus money for our best bets. I mean, Peter basically just gave a great example as you're going to get, but the Reds on a 7-game losing streak, and each of their last 5 games, they've lost by 2 runs or more. So this Giants team, Alex Cobb, the Giants, they're just a team that they just take these random pitchers from other areas that were okay, and they just turn them into studs. You saw it with Kevin Gausman a year ago. This year with Alex Cobb, he's been a bit unlucky, as Peter said, but he's got some nasty stuff. So we're going to go Giants plus money, +110 to beat the Reds by 2 runs or more. So let's hopefully get a win here.
You know what I do like about that? Because if the Reds bullpen is one of the worst in the league, so like it's terrible. So like even if it's close after like 5 or 6, you got a bad bullpen. And the Giants have actually been good lately from a bullpen perspective. I had this stat yesterday. I think they were like first over their last like 2 weeks in like bullpen ERA. That might have changed, but so it's not even close there. I'm doing something that I actually don't feel great about this, and it's my best bet, but I looked at some stats today, and all right, so Dodgers Braves over 9.5. It's +105. Now, look, Julio Urias versus Ian Anderson doesn't scream over. So I'm going to look at a couple numbers. Dodgers, best road OPS in baseball, second best OPS in baseball over the last week. Braves, 5th best home OPS in baseball, 2nd best OPS against left-handed pitching. I have all those numbers in front of me. I'm not really impressed with Ian Anderson this year. And look, Urias has been pretty good. He doesn't miss a ton of bats. Like, he doesn't strike a ton of people out. I don't think it's a great matchup. I really just like this over here because of those numbers. I think hot teams, hot offenses, I don't really care who's on the mound. It could burn me, but at +105, I'm booking this one. I don't know how we feel, fellas. Like, you talk me out of it.
It's a contrarian play, which I do like, because you're going to see the public pile in on the under. But yet that line hasn't gone down, right? It's still a very high total, and it's a weird high total too. But the Dodgers are starting to swing it again, and I know they can beat up on Ian Anderson.
And also
the Braves can beat up on Urias too. And it's not like these bullpens. I mean, the Braves bullpen is better, but if I'm not mistaken, they've been pretty used up lately, especially after that Kyle Wright start. I like it.
Yeah. So like, now here's the thing too. Here's the other thing with this is that this is definitely biased. My fantasy team stinks, and Ian Anderson is on it. So he's going to go tonight for me. He's probably going to give up 5 in like 1 2/3. And then we're halfway there. So like, I'm good. Now let's let's move on to this is the reason everybody comes here because it's Parlay Friday. So usually we give like some stupid name of the parlay, do whatever you want. I'll let Anthony start with this and then I'll go to you, Peter, so we could just like you just get a flow from Anthony, see what he does. It's not, we're having fun here. So and go first. What's your parlay? Let's hear it, baby.
Calling this one the strep throat scramble parlay at plus 304. As you can hear in my voice, been battling strep throat all week, feeling like absolute dog shit, but it's all right. It's Parlay Friday, so let's kick things off with Colorado Avalanche on the money line tonight. Going to take down the Lightning and win the cup. Then we're going White Sox on the money line against the Orioles. And lastly, we're doing a nerfy in the Padres and the Phillies game here tonight. So kicking things off, Avalanche on the money line. They're just the better team in the series, and the rest that they had is just going to pay so much dividends as we saw them come out flying both in games 1 and 2 in Colorado. The Lightning went 6 with the Rangers last series when Colorado was hanging out, relaxing after they swept Edmonton. So tonight, fatigue is going to catch up to the Lightning. Avalanche going to hoist the cup at home. Then White Sox money line tonight. Michael Kopech taking on Kyle Bradish. Bradish sports a 7+ ERA for this Baltimore Orioles team. Kopech's been a beast all year. His ERA is just under 2.4. And the White Sox team, this is the time of year where we got to see if they're legit or not. Hopefully they can get going now because they've really not been good this year. So we're going White Sox over the O's. And lastly, we're doing the nerfy in the Padres and the Phillies. 2 decent pitchers. We got Aaron Nola, who's actually been really good this year. I know Steve and I have both never really believed in Aaron Nola, but we're taking the nerfy, and it's Mackenzie Gore going for the Padres tonight. We just need the first inning of no-run baseball. So you get these odds at plus 304, and hopefully I'll get rid of the strep throat by tomorrow.
I'm proud of you, buddy, because when we first started this podcast 20 episodes ago, this is 20th episode, by the way. 20 episodes ago, we started Parlay Friday, and Anthony's parlays were like plus 1,400 to plus like 2,000. Now we're at like plus 305. Like I'm so proud of him. This is great. I also don't love the nerfy because the Phillies against lefties. I know Mackenzie Gore's a stud, but like, you could just prove me wrong because I haven't really been very good lately. So that's it. You just need one. Peter, what do you have tonight? I know you got picks. I know you're not a big parlay guy, so we put them together. Let's see what you got. I'm interested.
Let's put them together. Might as well call this the Not Gambling Advice Parlay because I'm not the biggest parlay fan, but I do love all of these 3 picks, and we might as well parlay them for a little bit of fun on a Friday. So maybe I'm biased here. I'm the biggest Cal Quantrill fan in the world, and I'm going with the Cleveland Guardians money line, and it's not just because as an underdog at plus 110, but it's moved around a little bit, so it might be plus 100, plus 105, plus 110. I got it at plus 110. There's a lot of areas that I feel like there's small edges here for the Guardians. First, the Guardians in the past month have hit right-handed pitching better than the Red Sox have. You wouldn't think so, but they are. Nick Pivetta is at his worst on the road. Cal Quantrill is at his best at home. I think, especially with the bullpen advantage also leaning to the Guardians, I think that they can hit Nick Pivetta a little bit because Nick Pivetta is a 3-pitch guy. Fastball, curveball, slider. He also throws in another pitch. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but he barely throws it. The Guardians are one of the best fastball slider combo lineups, at least against those 2 pitches in baseball, especially against righties. The Guardians cannot hit a left-hander. They just got shut down by Devin Smeltzer, but don't let that make you think that the Guardians offense is bad. They are elite against right-handed pitching, and they're about to face Nick Pivetta, who's off, he's been phenomenal lately. He can't lose, but it's Nick Pivetta.
Still Nick Pivetta. That's it.
Still Nick Pivetta.
I got a little Nick Pivetta note in mind later. So
I think the Red Sox should be, minus 135 favorites here? I do not. And I think the value is here worth it for the Guardians. I'm throwing that first 500 in because I just freaking love it so much. And then I'm also, and to make the parlay a little bit easier, you could go Twins money line or you could go Twins first 5 for better value. German Marquez is pitching for the Rockies. And German Marquez has one of the worst fastballs in baseball. At one point in this season, by run value, it ranked worse than Brett Phillips' fastball, the outfielder for the Rays. That's how much it's getting blown up. And he's about to go into Minnesota without a rest day for that Rockies offense going from Miami to Minnesota to face the number 1 team against right-handed pitching and against the fastball in June. Not a good recipe for German Marquez. Do I expect Dylan Bundy to pitch well? Not really. But do I expect German Marquez to get torched? Yes. So I'm willing to go with the Twins.
So so this is I'm on 2 of these with you. I'm not on. Well, I'll get into it. I like where your head's at here. You got German Marquez is like an automatic fade every single time he pitches. So I like where your head's at here. So I'm gonna go to mine. It might be a little repetitive, but I got some notes here. It's calling this the we're on Central Time parlay. This is plus 620. So Guardians money line. Like you said, your king, Cal Quantrill, on the bump against Pivetta. So I looked at this. I see Guardians at home. I'm seeing plus money by itself, right? And then I looked at Nick Pivetta's advanced stats, and it turns out he gives up piss missiles all over the yard. Guardians are 9th in the MLB in OPS against righties. You said everything else that needs to be said. Guardians money line to kick this thing off. Then I got Rockies Twins over 9. So as we spoke about, Marquez he's like the worst pitcher in baseball. Dylan Bundy is the definition of mediocrity. And surprisingly, over the last 7 days, the Rockies are not even being at cores. They are first in OPS over the last 7 days, while the Twins are 9th, and they've crushed righties in June, as you said. And then the bats are coming out in this one. I'm expecting this 9 going over.
Love that.
And then I got A's and I got Royals, and I'm going under 9 here. So Cole Irvin, Zach Greinke. Last 2 weeks, A's are dead last in the MLB in OPS. Dead last. Royals are 17th. Royals are also 20th in the league in OPS against left-handed pitching. Neither of these offenses scare me. I think the pitching is just good enough to go under 9 here. You put it all together, we're on Central Time, plus 620. That's what we're doing.
Can I make one point about that Royals-A's game?
You can.
I think if it was you versus me on the mound, I think there's a decent chance it could go under 9. So it almost doesn't matter who's pitching.
Yeah,
these two offenses are
it's abysmal.
Especially the A's. I mean, they aren't trying.
They haven't tried all year. They're like, here, take our guys. We don't care. Are they going to try again? Are they just going to move to Vegas and try? What are we doing?
So I'm obsessed with baseball, as you can probably tell. And there's very few times, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I just watch this so closely that I don't know a player on a roster. I could probably go through every roster and name almost every player on the team. But I was watching the A's game recently. It was against the Red Sox, and I had the Red Sox, who crushed them because it's the A's. And someone was playing third base. And I was like, I have never seen him before in my life. Not on a prospect list, not in the major leagues. And I thought to myself, this is the first time this year where I have no idea who you are. Jonah Bride.
Who? No.
I don't need a 26-year-old.
I can't even oh man. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when the Mets had Eric Campbell batting cleanup. That's what that reminds me of.
But at least we've heard of him.
That's true. Well, if you're a Met fan, you heard of him. You didn't hear of him if you were in New York or a Met fan. You'd put on New York sports talk radio and people would be like, Eric Campbell, who is this? He's a slow singles hitter. He's 31. He's a journeyman. Now he stinks. What do you want? So, all right, Peter, before we get out of here, we got one question that we ask everybody who comes on the show. You're stranded on a desert island with one athlete, dead or alive. Who are you taking with you and why?
Such a good one. It's such a good question because I really have two answers, and it's so tough to decipher between these two guys. It's Jackie Robinson and it's Babe Ruth for me, and for just so many different reasons. Jackie Robinson, I would just love to just unpack his brain on the entire becoming the first African American to play baseball. I just can't imagine the stories that he could tell, the wisdom that he would create. And then Babe Ruth, just how were you able to do the things that you were able to do? Because just in his era, and I know Barry Bonds is way better than Babe Ruth. I'm still in the breath that Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time. He was the first pitcher and hitter. And the fact that he's doing it while eating hot dogs and smoking cigarettes and setting records that aren't appreciated enough in this day and era. He was hitting 40, 50, 60 home runs when the rest of the league teams hit 20 home runs. He was so far and away the ultimate baseball player that I still don't think he gets enough credit, weirdly.
He doesn't.
What he was able to do. Like, he hit 714 home runs before, like, baseball's, I mean, they were wet socks that he was hitting out of the ballpark. So those are the two players, and I can't decide. Unfortunately, I just can't decide. It would be I
feel like those
style of both of them.
I feel like those would be like two vastly different experiences, because I feel like hanging out with like Babe Ruth, like probably in like you're now like how you guys are gonna drink on the island and stuff, and then like you're hanging out with Jackie Robinson and he's telling you these stories and he's got like tons of stories. So I feel like the two experiences vastly different.
And it's also not just about Jackie, his experience too. He was a great baseball player, phenomenal baseball player, like great base stealer, had tons of hits, was a great leadoff guy, great defender. Overall, a phenomenal baseball player. That sort of gets lost in the story of Jackie Robinson, of how good he was. So even just was baseball with him, minus any of the experiences, which are some of the most legendary of all time. That's why it's Jackie Robinson. Satchel Paige has to be in there for me too. I mean, just to be able to talk to him, those three, really.
There you go. See, you don't have to pick one. That's actually the best. That's one of the best in-depth answers we've gotten on that question. Before we get out of here, tell everybody where and how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me right here, Peter Appel 23 on Twitter. I host the Just Baseball Show as well as Not Gambling Advice. Just Baseball Show covers all baseball, but Not Gambling Advice is more gambling, live odds, fantasy baseball, guys to buy high. I released an episode today if you guys want to go check that out. And also I write a full article every day on justbaseball.com with my full analysis on all three picks. And we don't miss days. We just keep rolling and we keep rolling.
Team no days off, baby. I also butchered your name at the beginning, so I apologize for that. Called you Appel. Apple. There you go.
It's spelled Appel, and Mark Appel is also doing well in the minor leagues right now, which is kind of interesting. If you guys
any relation there?
No relation there, unfortunately. I wish, because he's a stud at least right now. But no, it's Apple like the fruit, but it's spelled Appel. Happens to be all the time. No worries at all.
All good, everyone. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter, Parlay Friday on Substack, because you will get bonus picks every Friday. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify. For Anthony Saccone, for Peter Appel, for Steve Armato. If you want to be a man at night, you got to be a man in the morning. We'll see you next week.